Hello, my name is Christopher Dixon.
And my name is Ron.
And today we're going to discuss kind of the partial ethics and the influence of superhero comics on us, the audience, old, young, our perception of them, how we feel the direction is going with the Marvel and DC cinematic universes, stuff like that. So,
yeah. I mostly talk about superheroes.
Yeah,
right? That's
the best part of it is the actual superheroes themselves. So first we've got the like a character analysis.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a look at a long list of the heroes for both DC and Marvel. We're gonna analyze them a bit, poke at their powers, why they do the things they do, some of their villains, which is always a great part to superheroes, their counterparts. So let's start with the big daddy of them all, the original OG superhero, Superman.
Boom. And just to clarify, it's going to be a whole Marvel versus DC, like Chris said. But he's a Marvel guy.
I am.
And of little of comics that I do know, I'm a DC guy. Mainly because I'm a big Superman fan. As cliche as that sounds, and as whatever you want to call it, I'm a big Superman fan. And we have some thoughts on it, but Chris is more knowledgeable than I am with these comics. He knows the little intricacies, and I'm a noob, man.
It's okay to be
I'm
a
a big noob.
If nothing else,
right.
You don't get irritated at certain things when you're watching. And
you're right. And, I'm grateful for that. So,
all right. So, Superman.
Let's get into
what do you perceive of Superman's background and his actions, emotions, things like that? What do you think?
That's a pretty loaded question right there. It's pretty deep. Well, from what I know, all right, he's a guy.
He is a guy.
He's a male guy. He's a man.
He's a man.
And Superman.
Not quite a man's man, but a man.
Well, I think he's a pretty man's man. You don't think so?
When I see like a man's man, I think like Wolverine's more like a man's man.
Oh, I see.
The whiskey chugging,
Oh, yeah.
very like
He's got a
rough and tumble type of cowboyish style.
But he's a pretty strong guy, though.
He's a clean cut guy. That's what Superman really
That's what he is. He's like the Office version.
Yes, he's the Office.
Literally
the Office man's man.
Yeah, the corporate version.
Corporate. Yeah, he's the corporate version.
The corporate man of superheroes.
That's
what
superheroes.
it is. Well, he worked at Data Planet. That's what I knew that. He had a little thing for Lois Lane. At one point, did they ever get married?
They
probably
do.
did. Yeah,
they do.
And they lived in his home in.
See, I don't know. Like Superman is probably my weakest. Well, not my weakest of the characters on this list, but
you just hate him.
I don't. You know what? Now it's not that I don't even hate him. We'll get into that in a second. But I think he does live on their farm on Smallville.
Right.
But the main thing, he's an alien. He's Kryptonian.
That's a big thing.
The last of his people, sort of. So he's got a legacy to uphold in his father. Yeah, that's what I said. The last, he's got a legacy to uphold. Right. An interesting thing, at least, and they quoted this in Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah.
When David Carradine, he gives a little perception into who Superman is. That Superman perceives us as these weak, bumbling fools, kind of, and he's nothing like that at all. His disguise is the Clark Kent. That's what makes him really unique amongst heroes. I'll give him that, especially for his background versus people like Batman. Yeah. But I think it could be argued the same that Batman perceives himself as Batman, not as Bruce Wayne. We can talk about that in a moment, too.
It's funny. That's my favorite interpretation in the movie Kill Bill, Volume 2, of Superman.
I never thought of that before.
I
never thought about that before.
It's funny, when I think about all the other superheroes, Batman's a debate. But that's their disguise.
Yep.
And that's their mask, so to speak. While Superman, who he really is, he is a powerful dude.
He's Kal-El. He's Superman. And Clark Kent is his disguise.
Which is another reason why I like Superman.
Okay.
He does whatever it takes to be a part of the world that he's in.
He does. He assimilates very well without condemning the actions that we do ourselves. He's the Boy Scout. But in the same way, that's kind of what seems so frustrating about him. He's such a Boy Scout that sometimes it feels like he's very sanctimonious in his approach to the other superheroes. Even
Yeah.
like
He's
we're
goody
such
two
role
shoes.
models. People are flawed. Everyone should have flaws. Flaws are what make us human. Flaws are what make us great. He's not human, granted,
Right.
but if he's assimilating, flaws is something you should at least understand that even amongst the heroes around him,
Right.
flaws are what makes a character great.
Right.
That's why Superman, to me personally, isn't as interesting as Batman. He doesn't have the flaws that Batman has. Batman's psychotic.
Yes.
He's insane. Like he actually is. I mean, he's dressing up. He's a human, just a base human, dressing up in a costume and running around doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah,
And he's so caught up in it, there's no stopping him.
that's true. There's a sense of obsession that he has with
Exactly.
that identity.
Exactly. And that's, I feel like he takes on that same perspective that Superman does, where Bruce Wayne is just his costume. It's just a vehicle to get him around and accomplish certain goals. But Batman is who he really is. In his mind, he is Batman. That's crazy. Now, not for Superman, it's logical because he is so insanely powerful. He's like
Yeah.
a god, But Batman isn't. But he thinks the same way Superman does. At least that's how I kind of perceive it.
Yeah.
That's how he. Every it seems like every interpretation of Batman in this modern era seems more akin to that, where he
Yeah.
perceives himself as Batman, not Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That's just like his alter ego that's just getting him to where he needs to be as Batman.
Well, you especially see that with the trilogy, the most recent trilogy,
The Nolan trilogy. Yep.
where he sees himself as that's who he is. He is Batman.
Makes the statement that Batman isn't just a man; he's more than that. He's an idea.
I'm Batman.
But sorry. Back to Superman. I tend to, whenever we discuss Superman, I shoot right to Batman because
His hatred for Superman.
it's not a
stops
hatred.
him.
It's
It
not
is.
a hatred.
It is.
It's a frustration with his flaws, his weaknesses, the
Your
punishment,
dislike. Yeah,
the punishment that he can take with his powers. It puts him in a league all to his own, where he can basically beat the rest of the Justice League single-handedly. That is frustrating because no one hero should have that kind of power.
Well, why not?
Because it weakens the concept of the rest of the heroes. Like, Superman's so powerful, when we're watching Wonder Woman fight and she's losing, we're going, where's Superman? Where's Superman? Why isn't Superman here to just stop this like that?
Right, right.
That's why a lot of these big scenarios where crazy moments are happening, you feel like, why isn't Superman here? He's so fast, he is super hearing, he can do
Right.
everything. How come he doesn't immediately just show up and stop it because he can? It always leaves that question. Why is Batman trying to handle some of the tougher villains that he has when Superman can just swoop in and end him like that?
Right.
And it's the same with Wonder Woman, with Green Lantern, with Aquaman. Why even bother watching them when all it takes is Superman? And then when Superman is turned bad, it takes all of them to try to stop him.
That's pretty dope, though.
No, it's frustrating because it's like what's the point of even trying if the big guy over here can do it all?
So it's not the character himself.
No, he's a great character.
Right.
He's a character that inspires. That's why
Right.
when we discuss the Man of Steel aspect, I'll say some of the problems I have with that. He's a bright character. He's the guy that everyone aspires to be.
Right.
He is the DC. Well, I guess actually Marvel's the Captain America's the Marvel version of Superman in a sense. But that's what he's there for. That's what he's supposed to stand for, and that's a good thing. You need that character.
Yeah.
But I think the difference between like him and Captain America is not. He's one of the greatest Marvel characters, but he is by no means the most powerful. He's probably
Sure.
the weakest. Well, I mean, maybe not. Black Widow, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
They consider them the weakest. But right now, we're actually transitioning to the Captain America aspect. He's the first one on our list of the Marvels.
Yeah.
And they go hand in hand. Superman and Captain America, the red and the blue, and
They are. Now, would you say those two, they represent the moral compass?
they are the moral compass of the group.
Yeah.
They, for the most part, they're the ones that are going to rein in everybody else when it's necessary. Whereas Batman and Iron Man are the ones that are willing to go to things just shy of maybe murder to accomplish whatever's necessary. And even Iron Man's willing to probably kill, sometimes if necessary. So,
but I don't know. What are your thoughts on Captain America?
He's personally my favorite Avenger. I like how he's the man out of his time.
Right.
He's the one that he saw a different generation that's arguably the best generation.
Yeah.
They did things better. They were more clean cut. They had an idea of what America was supposed to be.
Sure.
Now let's just forget the racism, the sexism,
Sure.
the things that were allowed back in that time period. That it's interesting. Captain America never shows any of those qualities of that time period that he grew up in. I always thought that was interesting. They never covered that. But besides those negative aspects, he's a representation of what was best in one of the worst times in America's history and the world's history. When Hitler is killing millions of people, Captain America was that symbol that we're trying to do better. We can do better. We are better than this. He's the one trying to push people forward to a better generation, the same as Superman is for DC. And it's great that he doesn't have any real great powers, but he's still the most effective of the Avengers because he's the strategist. He's the one that has the game plan. He's the one that calls the shots because they have the respect for him. He earned it, same as Superman. He's earned the respect of everyone around him, so they listen to him. He's the leader.
Right. Now, it's funny. I don't know too much about the Marvel characters, the core Avengers. I don't know too much about them. But when it comes to Captain America, what I do respect about him, and it's, like you said before, he's quite similar to Superman. And that's maybe why I like him so much, because he is a moral compass for the group, and he's a very persevering character. He always he doesn't see obstacles too much. He overcomes them, and it's funny. He comes across as like a goody two shoes as well.
Captain America does, yeah, absolutely.
And do you think that is a weakness, or more so a strength?
That's interesting. I don't know. Like when I look at him in comparison to Superman,
Sure.
they have almost the exact same ideology.
Yeah.
The only difference being that it seems like Captain America lives in a more realistic world where things don't always go according to plan. You don't have control over all the factors. Marvel feels like it's more grounded in a reality than DC is most of the time. DC is more like the aspiring heroes doing these amazing things on par. They're all way stronger than the Avengers.
Yeah.
But they don't. I know this has probably changed the past few years. Like I don't keep up with DC that very much, but the Marvel storylines deal more with the inner turmoil of being a hero and juggling the different things that are necessary to be a person living within this world and trying to be a hero and trying to overcome the flaws that you have to be that hero. Captain America has to do that. Like he's always constantly trying to overcome a different concept of America than what it is now. He has to come to terms with the super consumerism that we have now, the way the media spins things. He has to adapt to that and understand that and find a motivation to still fight for that. But he doesn't have all the powers that Superman has to do it. So it's more difficult for him, whereas Superman, it's not as difficult.
Sure.
At least that's just my perception of it. So, yes, he is a goody two shoes, the same as Superman's a goody two shoes. But it seems like Captain America has more conflict within himself than Superman does with that goody two shoes aspect of it. Like, his version of America that he would like to have is not what it is.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to conform the best he can to fit himself into that society while still upholding the goody two-shoe ideas. So it's much difficult for him than with Superman, who's grown up in this America that it is now, and he understands it better.